What is up, everybody? I'm Chad. That's Ben, and we are doing the damn thing. It's the podcast exclusively for the $10 and $20 patrons of the co-main event. This is the show where we talk about all the non-MMA related content we think might be of interest to you guys. And Ben, folks, Thanksgiving is upon us.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is next week. And you know what? I want to get your take on this actually. Before we even dive in with how you doing with our discussion here about the oncoming Thanksgiving holiday next week. We like to say the holiday season, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I guess in theory, the holiday season can encompass Thanksgiving, Christmas, or the holiday that you choose to celebrate around that time, and then New Year's, right? To you, does the holiday season encompass all of those? Does it start officially with Thanksgiving? And if so, does it, like me, create this weird kind of like stop time malaise of basically like the last month and a half of the year?
I don't know if I would add the word malaise necessarily in there, but it does sort of carve out this period of time that seems to exist separately from everything else, and also a period of time where it almost feels like don't bother trying to start anything new
Yeah.
during this. You're
Almost
you're
like don't bother trying to communicate with anyone or get anything done in certain instances.
Yeah, I mean, I guess depending what kind of work environment you're used to, that is definitely true. But yeah, everybody just kind of goes into this mode where we're trying to get through it. We're trying to retreat a little bit into our own personal bubbles about family, whoever you're spending the time with. It can be an especially fraught time for a lot of people, especially if they have difficult relationships with family and whatnot. And it just feels like, all right, if I have something serious to consider or to start up or something, we'll get to it in January, my man. Early January.
That's the time of renewal
Yeah,
right there.
until then, I'm going to be eating cookies and, heavy foods smothered in various gravies, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get into talking about that today. We might do some Grizz talk at the end of the episode because it
We
is
got
Cat
to do
Week.
some. It's Cat Week.
Fuck the cats. The Brawl of the Wild rivalry on Saturday in Bozeman, noontime kickoff here in the One True Time Zone. So we will talk about that coming up a little bit later on. First, though, Ben, how you doing?
Jed, I stopped into the grocery store yesterday.
Okay, what grocery store are we talking about?
We're talking about Rose Hours,
Okay.
right down the street here.
Mm-hmm.
Get some
Employee
stuff.
owned.
Okay, good. That
Employee
makes me
owned
feel good about it.
local supermarket on the land that was once owned by my family's ranch and deli shop.
What?
Yeah. They used
How
to
am I
own
just
that.
learning this?
They used to own that Rosar's land, and then they sold it, like a fucking century ago or whatever. And I ain't never get none of that money. I ain't never seen that Rosar's money,
That's
Ben,
prime real
folks.
estate, man.
I
Right there on
know.
Reserve and South.
If only they would have hung on to it, we could have sold it to fucking Costco or something, and then I wouldn't be slumming it with you plebes
No,
talking
you
on
would
this
not.
fucking podcast.
No,
I'd be
you would
on
not.
that plane with Trump and RFK and Elon. That's where I would be.
You'd have this exact same podcast, except it would be about yachts.
Yeah, it would be me and Theo Vaughn talking about yachts.
Anyway, I'm in Rose Hours. I'm going through the checkout line. I look up, there's a magazine, maybe a People magazine or something similar. And on the cover, I see James Vanderbeek,
Oh, wow. Okay.
who you'll no doubt remember as Dawson
Mm-hmm.
on Dawson's Creek,
Mm-hmm.
also as one of the stars of Varsity Blues. There he is. He's up there. And the headline is something along the lines of how he's battling cancer and does not want to die just yet, basically. Has a lot to live for. And, it looks like him. He almost has the same exact haircut, just looks a little older. You see the lines on the face, all that kind of stuff. For some reason, it throws some shit in perspective just about the passage of time.
You finding out about the mortality of James Vanderbeek
Yeah.
It's
Because there
gonna,
he is. I remember this motherfucker from my freshman year of college. He was on that show, the Dawson's Creek show. Everybody loved that show. People were watching it in the dorm rooms, all that kind of stuff. My roommate Horton would act like he was ironically watching Dawson's Creek, but he was not. We knew
yeah,
he was not.
yeah.
He was invested. And then there's that son of a bitch. He's up here. He got one of these. It's not like he's some guy that we're doing the oh my god, can you believe cancer can even strike down a dude in his prime? This like it's not necessarily that kind of cancer. It's the kind of cancer that could just start happening to people because they're old, their bodies have been producing these same cells over and over again for so long that eventually they fuck it up. And there he
Well,
is.
James Vanderbeek is only 47. Let's say he's a year older than me.
See? This is what I'm saying, Chad.
I got to get that colonoscopy. God damn.
There he is. He's up there being like, I wish to not die just yet. And you know, it strikes me especially because I think I mentioned to you, for a couple weeks there where I was dealing with like, oh, I tweaked my lower back and now I got to do everything around my lower back. Got to do stretching constantly. Got to watch what I do exercise wise because of this thing with my lower back. And then like, I kind of get through the lower back stuff. And I got this problem kind of with like my ribs that like an old jujitsu injury kind of bugging me. And then lately I've been dealing with something with my knee where it's just like the knee's weird. I just gotta ice it every single day. Gotta watch what I'm doing, all this kind of stuff. And then there I am limping through the grocery store line, and James Vanderbeek got the cancer. And I'm going like, well, this is where we're all headed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, here it is. James Vanderbeek, his face like a creased pair of trousers, like sagging, spoiling fruit.
Oh, that's not.
And here we
You
all
don't
go.
have to say that, but he's already got cancer, and you're going to say his face is like spoiling fruit?
I'm saying all of our faces are. I'm saying this is where we're getting to, you know? So yeah, and I was just, and then I have to reflect on the ridiculousness of coming to like these musings on mortality because of fucking James Vanderbeek. James Vanderbeek, never,
Mm-hmm.
he was never an important person to me. Like even as far as celebrities and actors and everything go, never spent too much time thinking about James Vanderbeek. But because you see him there and you're like, that's Dawson. Fucking Dawson's got cancer now? Shit, man. Has anybody checked in on Joey? Whatever
Pacey seems
show.
like he's doing okay. That guy still
Pacey,
has an
yeah.
acting career, right? Guy's still in stuff. He's in feel like he's in this. Is he in that show that I keep seeing advertisements for on Hulu where he's like a doctor on a boat?
Okay, that's really specific. Like a cruise ship doctor?
Yeah. Let me hold on here.
I feel like I only even ever hear about network TV shows when I'm watching sports and have to sit through the commercials. And it's weird because they'll be like, America's favorite new show, uh, Hot Lifeguard Surf Rescue. And you're like, okay, first of all, we've been rebooting this exact show in some other form for 30 years now. But also, you guys are acting like this is a popular show
He
that you
is.
know about?
He is. He's on Dr. Odyssey,
Oh,
a,
okay.
a show about a doctor. Max is the new onboard doctor for a luxury cruise ship where the small but mighty medical team navigate unique medical crises and each other miles from shore. That's a show. That is an
Okay.
ongoing show. It's new. It just started. Would you like me to tell you what the tagline is, what the
By all
slogan of the
means,
show
you
is?
better fucking tell me what the tagline is.
Big Deck Energy.
Oh my God.
Right?
We didn't think too long about that one, did we?
This is another example where you're in a Hollywood meeting and they're like, all right, new show, fucking firefighter, but like he's on a cruise ship. Lawyer, but like now he's in jail. Or like, we put a doctor, but doctor lives on a farm.
It is smart to put it in a cruise ship because you remove a lot of the things that could undercut the drama of a plot, such as like, I don't know, why don't you airlift him to a hospital with fucking specialists if you guys can't figure out what the hell's going on with this dying patient? You're like, we can't. We're in the middle of the Indian Ocean, asshole. Plus, it builds in like the episodic nature of that kind of show, because it's just like every week we're going to get into a new adventure. We're not worried about any of these passengers and their bizarre maladies beyond the end of this episode. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get them off the ship. We're going to get a new people on the ship, and then they're going to also have some strange maladies. I would think that, be a good show. You could do a detective show, like a Columbo style detective show, but he's like the detective on a cruise ship solving crimes. You get your diamonds stolen on some Titanic ass shit. There's a murder, shit like that. This guy shows up in a trench coat. Just have him be Columbo. Columbo Cruise. Don't overthink it. Throw him out there. He's in your stateroom or whatever, asking you where you were the night the prize poodle went overboard. And then he turns around with this unlit cigar in hand and says, "Oh yeah, just one more thing." And you're like, "Oh shit."
I mean, I think that's been done.
Columbo on a cruise ship?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you're basically talking about is Murder on the Orient Express right now.
Well, that was
trying to tell me one
joint.
of Agatha Christie's 500 books isn't on a boat? I bet there is.
It's on some kind of I'm talking about an episodic TV show.
Or every week there's a mystery. I mean, hell, man, if you're going to tell me every week there's a medical emergency, I guess you might as well.
Those cruise ships, but you can murder people on a cruise ship, get away with it all the time.
Yeah, well, you just throw them overboard. Did you see the thing this week where the 39-year-old Russian ballet dancer fell out a window?
No, I did not. Motherfuckers be falling out a lot of windows over there in Russia.
Mm-hmm. Super coordinated, athletic dudes just tumbling out of windows who happen to be vocal, outspoken public critics of the current regime. Just tumbling out of windows. And putting on underwear covered in plutonium. One of those two things.
Somewhere in America, Republicans are going, now see, that seems like a good system. That's what I want.
That's what I was soon. Honestly, when I saw that, I was like, how long before guys start falling out of windows here?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I live in a place with no windows. Ha!
I'd like
to see him get me now. So this, all right, two things. Number one, this is a classic Ben Folks situation. Considering your own mortality, but looking at the grocery store tabloids. Number two, it's honestly sort of like a mid-40s classic setup where all you're trying to do is get some soda pops and
I'm trying to get these broccoli crowns, man.
Get a broccoli crown and some sugary cereal for the kids. And you walk in feeling great. You walk out contemplating whether or not you're next. Right? But you're already thinking about your back and your knee, weird kink in your neck.
You're telling me Pacey's not thinking about it wherever he is? Well, he's thinking right now. He's like, okay, everything's going great. You're the doctor on this cruise ship. But you see James. Did you guys hear about James? Fucking Katie Holmes is texting him, be like, you hear about James? And he'd be like, yeah. And they're all kind of looking at each other being like, we next? Is it coming for me next?
Well, maybe he can turn to Don Johnson for some help and fatherly advice, because Don Johnson is also on Dr. Odyssey.
How about that? And Don Johnson, there's a career where you thought, he was living high in the 80s. He was Miami Vice and everything, and then just disappeared. And that just shows back up.
He's kind of doing the Travolta thing now, right? Remember when we did this with Travolta, where he was like a 70s guy, and then he was gone forever, and then he came back and he did the Quentin Tarantino stuff, and he's
and similarly, Don Johnson was helped out by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. It also appears that Joshua Jackson, aka Pacey, was also in an 8-episode television reboot of Fatal Attraction in 2023. Yeah, so
Joshua Jackson is a weird name for that dude to have. That shouldn't be his name.
What do you think his name should be?
Joshua Jackson is a slot receiver for the Detroit Lions. It's not fucking Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
Let me tell you what is going to make him sound even more like a wide receiver in the NFL is that his middle name is Carter. So his name is actually Joshua Carter Jackson, who sounds like, hit that guy on a quick slant and he could go to the house. One missed tackle, Joshua Carter-Johnson has taken it to the house.
Yeah, he's not your number one option. He's not the superstar on the team, but he's good for 6 catches for 53 yards a game. Also, can't you just picture standing there Monday Night Football and he'd be like, Joshua Jackson, Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can.
Third
I
year
can
man,
picture it.
third year man out of Texas A&M, Joshua Jackson. So that's how I'm doing. How you doing?
Man, I also have a back thing going on. I got a weird back thing going on. Well, I've had this thing where like I get a weird kink in my neck, a weird crick in my neck that's been going on for a long time, which has led to a lot of stretching and lacrosse ball kind of action. But now I have this thing where like I tweaked my lower back doing power cleans a couple of months ago, a few weeks ago. And so it's been kind of bothering me. But it's not bad. It's like I can still do my stuff, but it's just like I feel it, it's back there. I know that it's there. But now I have this thing going on in the middle of my back where it's like kind of between the shoulder blades in like the rhomboid area. You know about the rhomboids. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
Where about 2 weeks ago, I was unloading the dishwasher and all of a sudden the back, that area of it just like seized up, man. It's the first time it's ever really happened to me where it was like I had to take 5. I could not continue to unload the dishwasher.
You had to take the count?
Yeah, for a couple minutes until things loosened up a little bit. And so I just had this weird soreness going on back there. And then last Thursday or Friday when I was in the gym doing a workout, it seized up on me again. And so I had to quit. I had to quit the workout, which is something I normally pride myself on not doing no matter how bad it gets. And so now I've got this like wobbly feeling, the sore feeling in my lower back. And now I got this like mid back thing happening. And I've got one side of my neck kind of keeps cramping up. So I'm out.
When you initially heard it doing power cleans.
Yeah.
Was it a situation where fatigue had begun to set in and maybe perhaps your form suffered?
I was trying to PR.
Oh,
so I was
shit.
I was going too heavy. I was going too heavy. Yeah.
Now it's all coming together for me.
Yeah. It was the last week of the cycle. It was the last week of the cycle. I was trying to PR on my power clean.
Gentleman of a certain age. He's so out there. He's of the James Vanderbeek cancer age of life, and he's out here trying to act like he's in the Texas A&M weight room with Joshua Carter-Jackson.
So true. So true.
To max out.
Yeah. Just not all the time though. It was the day for it. It was the end of the cycle. I was trying to beat my my score from the start of the cycle. So it's not like I'm in there going ham all the time. But it's like it was, you got to lift heavy sometimes now and then. Although I tell you what, I am rethinking my approach right now. I'm having to consider, have I reached that age where I need to be focusing on form and speed more than, putting up numbers, than trying to hang with these young cats. You know what I'm saying?
Is the way it works that you go through cycles and at the end of each cycle you sort of test to see where you're at?
Yeah.
Do you feel that is necessary for you psychologically, like to maintain motivation? Or do you do it just because everybody's doing it?
Everybody's doing it. It's part of the program. It doesn't do a lot for me, except that we usually start and end each cycle with a benchmark workout. That is a thing that we do. I think there's 4 or 5 of them, and we do them every year throughout the year. So it's kind of interesting to be like, oh, here's what I did on this benchmark workout last year, and here's what I did this year, and try to track your progress in that way. The downside of it is that you can get into a cycle that's just not all that interesting, right? Like right now, we're doing a cycle that is it's just a bunch of shit that it's like geared towards skiers and runners, and it's like a lot of single leg squats for like mobility and stuff like that. I'm just like, man, that's made up. Shit's made up. Single leg box squat. Fuck out of here with this shit. I don't have time for this. Let me do a regular squat. Throw the bar back up here, right? Let's do that. Single leg box squat. Fucking
what they're
8 rep
doing?
max. Get out of here.
To the not inconsiderable demographic of skiers
They
in
are.
Western Montana because
They
the
are.
season is coming up here.
But you know what? That's the thing. It's okay. Not everything has to be for me.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. You get a lot of different experiences out there that deserve to be catered to. And so if I got to go in there and suffer through a bunch of single leg squats and single arm landmine presses and all this other weird shit that they got us doing, it's fine. Whatever.
You know, uh, the skier personality of the person who looks forward all the year to the skier stuff, but also like gets into like they get into preseason mode for.
Yeah. You're talking about yourself right now.
I mean, I'm talking about the downhill skier people who get
Okay.
into it where they're
So
like,
it's cool if it's cross country. If it's Nordic skiing, yeah, that's fine. But the downhill people look
I
askance
don't
at them.
really care enough about it to like do a whole lot of stuff beforehand because I figure the way you'll get in shape from cross country skiing is by cross country skiing.
You and I have discussed your off-season training regimens for cross country skiing before.
I don't really do anything for cross country skiing.
Well, this was years ago, but we talked about this. We talked about it specifically, you and I, about what you were doing to get ready for the cross country ski season.
Well, what was I doing? Just fucking
Probably
squats?
same shit. I don't know.
Yeah. See, the thing is, recently especially, I don't know if you remember last year, it was Christmas and we still weren't cross country skiing out there. That's one of the things where I kind of look around and be like, is this going to be like this as a hobby? Is this going to become a casualty of a warming climate?
Well, yes. It's like one of the first things that's going to go.
Well, yes, he says. Well, people are going to be like rioting over water in India or whatever, but we're going to be sitting around here just being like, we used to be cross-country skiing by Thanksgiving. Now,
don't worry. Those water riots are coming to us here in the West.
See, I'm not interested. That's my position. I'm going to say this right now. I'm on record. I'm not interested in water riots as a phase of human civilization. Once we get to water riots, I will wish you all the best of luck.
Is that when you check out?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that might not be too far away,
That's fine.
It's probably less than one more Vanderbeek from here.
I'm not doing it, man.
Okay.
It's stupid. There's even if you win the water riots, Chad, what have you won?
Water. It's necessary for life.
Yeah, you won a little bit of water for a little bit of time.
All right. Well, we found out what your life expectancy is here. We found out when you're checking out.
Once we get to a water riot stage of humanity, we're already not exactly at our best lately as a species. Once we get into water riots, we're not going to be having a good time anymore. The party's we're going to be shutting down the lights on a lot of this stuff, and frankly, I just have no interest in it.
Within the next 50 years, many of the freshwater basins in the United States could struggle to meet the population's water demands. Climate change is causing severe droughts and greater aridity, extreme dryness that can affect humans and the natural systems they depend on, especially in Western states.
See, and if by this point we're already not even cross-country skiing anymore, if that's gone and then there's a water riot on top of that, you know what? It's been real, you guys.
Wow. This episode of Doing the Damn Thing has seemed particularly aimless and now particularly grim. Now that we have found out where the end of the line is for Ben Folks.
We got maybe one good Vanderbeek left in us.
All right. Thanksgiving, the holidays, wonderful time of year, uplifting, full of cheer. What are you doing? You're staying here. You're not going anywhere. You don't love your family enough to see them. So you're staying here with your children, having a small celebration. I don't know any of this. I'm just like AI using my previous knowledge of Ben Folks to synthesize what I think you're doing. Here's what you're doing. You're going to have like a small gathering with your kids.
Uh-huh.
Maybe BK will be there, maybe not. You guys are going to have dinner, but then you're going to have like, there's going to be another event that is going to be like kind of like a Friendsgiving where you're going to go to the house of one of these kids in the young party crowd that you run with. It's going to be like a potluck. You're going to go to that. There's going to be like 15, 20, 30 to 40-year-old people there. And you're all going to get hammered on wine. Did I nail it?
Try scotch. Jesus Christ, it's a fucking
It
holiday.
starts with scotch, then you're going to be drinking wine. You're going to wake up with red teeth.
I don't totally know what some of my friends are doing because one of my very good friends, she works entirely remotely, doesn't have kids, and can kind of go and do whatever she wants. And so she and her boyfriend and one of her other friends just like fucked off to Mexico for a couple weeks. I don't know if they're back in time for Thanksgiving. My plan, yeah, gonna do small Thanksgiving dinner traditions, gatherings with my children and ex-wife. We usually will take the dog out on a hike Thanksgiving morning, all that kind of stuff. And then Friday through Sunday, like the post Thanksgiving weekend, me and BK are going to a cabin in the woods where there's a hot
fuck,
tub.
I should have said cabin in the woods.
There
God
you go.
damn it.
There you go.
Oh, fuck. I fucked that up. That's my fault, everybody. I should have said cabin in the woods. I should have at least included that in my forecast.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be packing up your kids into your minivan. If it's not one of the years that you drive to Portland to hang out with your brother, he's going to drive here. You will go and you'll see some of your family. You'll see some of your wife's family. You will be stressed out about it the entire time, but you'll be standing there in a sweater with a t-shirt under it, and you'll drink an IPA very slowly as you nod politely and do the fake smile when you're not having a good time, but you want people to think that you're having a good time, and then you'll pack it all up, come home absolutely exhausted. You get the kids to bed. You and your wife will watch 15 minutes of a show that you've both been trying to get into, and then you'll fall asleep.
Pretty close. It's worse than that, though. My brother's not coming, which is a bummer for me. Those guys are going to New Hampshire, where his wife is from. But here's
they're getting on an actual plane around things. This is insane to me. Whenever people get on a plane for Thanksgiving, you hear the horror stories, people in the airports. I like hearing about it just because I enjoy not having to do it. Sounds awful.
The last few years, last handful of years, really, my wife and I have reached the point where we had to have the realization, look, man, we got to host. We got to take the Thanksgiving thing on ourselves because you cannot leave it to the boomers anymore. They are too old to pull it off, to pull off the large family dinner. And so I'd say the last 4 or 5 years we have hosted over here, which means that, my parents are going to bring a fucking huge crock pot full of terrible mashed potatoes, and like Courtney's sister will bring something and her mom will bring something, but really like we're doing it. We're doing the thing. And so we'll be doing that. I will be drinking far too many IPAs so I can nod and smile while the boomers get into their complaints.
Or in a sweater. V-neck. I'm gonna say it's a V-neck sweater. You can see like a white t-shirt underneath.
Don't forget about the apron. I'll have my apron on so I don't get my V-neck sweater all gross with turkey juices and whatnot.
Now you guys have a good house for hosting stuff like that because
we
have
do
a good open space there. Like the kitchen kind of opens up right into the living room sort of thing. So it's good for that.
Yeah.
When you say that the boomers are getting too old to pull it off, explain more. Just the cooking part of the execution, the hosting of a function?
Yeah, all of that. Like, my wife's mother is legally blind and has some health issues, so she can't really do it. She also just fell down and broke a bunch of ribs. I believe I talked about that several weeks ago on here. The thing about my parents, who are generally fairly healthy, but we realized this, half a dozen years ago or so, like, they're just not up for it. I mean, you like go up there. It doesn't matter what it is. You go up there to have dinner. You get there, they haven't started it yet. They're like, "Oh, we're waiting for everyone to get here," and then they started. Then it's like 2.5 hours later. Nobody is eating. My mom is still puttering around, worrying over every last detail.
Maybe it's a ruse just to have you around longer.
Here's the other thing. Even if they did cook it, it would be bad, right? Because they will have added nothing but blandening sauce to any of the items.
Sauce.
So, yeah, we have to do it now. In fact, I think it was last year, we briefly floated the idea of non-traditional Thanksgiving. Like maybe we don't do turkey.
You know my stance on that.
To a man, everyone, all of the boomers were like, fuck that, we are eating turkey.
Okay, see, the thing has happened this year where when I was discussing the Thanksgiving menu plans with my ex-wife, and I usually handle the meat course, and we'll do something, for years now, not done a turkey, just because I feel like turkey is trash. It is the worst part of Thanksgiving. It's overrated as fuck. I don't want nothing to do with no turkey. And I had some ideas about how I might go with the meat course this year. And she was like, actually, our youngest daughter had talked about how she wanted to eat turkey for Thanksgiving. And she is not an adventurous eater at all. Normally, what she'll do on Thanksgiving is eat a series of rolls. That's it.
Well,
She'll
yeah,
put
that's
some
what
other
kids
stuff
are
on her
going to eat.
plate. She'll
Kids are
push it
going to eat the
around.
rolls.
I mean, her older sister will eat some stuff. Will try out some stuff. And she's just like, where are the rolls at? Give me some rolls. But to her credit, she is getting more proactive about trying to become a more adventurous eater, trying to try more stuff, get herself to try more stuff. I'm proud of her. I've seen her trying to get herself to do that and succeeding at getting herself to at least try it. And this year she was like, I want to eat some turkey. I want to, and she has a plan where she wants to break open a roll, put some turkey inside, and then eat it that way.
Okay.
But it's like, still, we're only 4 people. We're not going to get a whole ass turkey. We don't even really like the turkey. So my ex-wife is like, I'll just get like a turkey breast or something, like a smoked turkey breast, and cook that for her, and we'll see. But it's like, I still had some plans, the meat course, and I'm not going to be deterred from those plans. And I'm
What are
also
the
not going to
plans?
sit there and eat turkey. I got this recipe for short ribs that I've been
Okay.
meaning to try.
Yeah.
And so, damn it, I'm doing that. We're doing some other Thanksgiving fixing stuff. But I was asking my daughter about this just yesterday. I was like, is it true that you really want to have turkey at Thanksgiving? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, and you're going to sit there and you're going to look me in my eye and tell me that you're going to eat that turkey? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, let us both remember this conversation. A week from now, when it is Thanksgiving Day and it is put up or shut up time when it comes to that turkey. I'm I don't know, man. I'm not so sure I can see it in my mind brain. Her sitting down there and eating some turkey. I think what's going to happen is she's going to have one bite of turkey and then decide, you know what? The roll is doing the most of the work here. Let me
Yeah.
just focus on that.
Yeah. I mean, I wish we didn't have to do it, but the olds are insisting that that's what we have. I was even like, let's do a ham, right?
Yeah.
Ham, pretty traditional holiday meal. And they were like, nope, absolutely not. Giant bird. And I was just like, okay, fine. I guess we'll do fucking turkey. Jesus.
I was thinking about this just yesterday. I was talking about holiday movies with my kids. Not a lot of good Thanksgiving movies. You know?
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah,
Right.
there's the
That's
one.
one.
Son-in-Law. Does Son-in-Law count as a Thanksgiving movie? Pauly Shore?
Does it take place over Thanksgiving?
That's what happens, right? Is they go back to her house on the farm for Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, yeah, of course it counts.
Okay, it's a Pauly Shore movie.
Well, I didn't say it counts as a good one. This is Thanksgiving meal. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Fuck off.
A lot of horror movies.
Oh.
A lot of Thanksgiving themed horror movies. Just looking here at my Google results.
What's scary about Thanksgiving? What happens in the horror? Like, what, the
It
turkey
looks
come to
like
life and eat you?
it looks like there's a lot of beheading, sort
Hmm.
of guy with an axe and a pilgrim hat kind of a
Come on.
theme.
That's not scary.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is listed as a Thanksgiving movie, which I don't. Does that take place Thanksgiving? Tower Heist, the
What?
Blind Side. This isn't Thanksgiving. What are we doing here?
Just because people eat Thanksgiving dinner at some point does not make it a Thanksgiving movie. I don't know.
I'm not seeing any good picks here. At least not that actually take place at Thanksgiving. Unless you want to watch the 2019 horror movie Pilgrim, which has a 3.0 rating from Google audiences. But it looks like it's available on either Disney Plus or Hulu.
Okay. You know what?
So
And it's the pilgrim we should be scared of.
I don't know, man. I just Googled it.
Huh.
Are you a holiday season guy? First of all, does the holiday season begin at Thanksgiving?
Well, we had this conversation at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah, I say. I mean, it's not. It doesn't begin at Halloween. You
I
know.
mean, if you're my daughter, you might beg to differ.
Yeah, it definitely be because Thanksgiving and Christmas feel like they are different by degree rather than type, right? I mean, you do some different stuff, but it's what you do on Thanksgiving probably has a lot of stuff in common with what you do over Christmas in terms of like you get together with family, which family, what kind of people, whose house do you go to, all that kind of stuff is pretty similar between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it also feels like people are going to get through Thanksgiving and then the people who have been waiting for it shift hard into Christmas mode as soon as it's time. You know, as soon
Yes,
as Thanksgiving is over.
that's what I'm asking you because I can tell you that the day after Thanksgiving, my daughter is going to be playing Christmas songs in the house, and it's going to go straight through to Christmas. That's what we'll be listening to, Christmas crooners for the next month.
Is it a playlist?
I mean, it's a Pandora station
Okay.
that she has mostly curated. Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, straight through Christmas crooning all the way till Christmas.
I would not have pegged your daughter as a crooners fan.
Basically anything Christmassy, she will go. Here's the thing that I've had to realize about my daughter over the last couple of years, and maybe it's because she's a tween now, right? She's 12. She's about to be 13 next year. She's basic as fuck.
Wow.
She is like pumpkin spice lattes in the fall. Wants to put a home screen on her phone that is like a falling leaves, snowmen. She's like, she's going to seasonally update her lock screen on her phone so that it is some manner of like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. She's got a special phone case that she only uses around Christmas that has like fucking snowflakes and shit on it. And so like Christmas music, basically anything that is a real basic motherfucker would be into. That's her shit. That is her whole shit.
I mean, doesn't it seem like, as somebody who also has a daughter around the same age, I notice at times it seems like this is what you regard as like your culture, the culture of your people, your peers around you, and your peers and the people just older than you. It's kind of what you can see
Yeah.
around you and what you can see in a sort of aspirational sense where you see cool older girls who seem cool to you at least, and this is the kind of shit they do. They wear the UGG boots and they get the pumpkin spice and have the Stanley cups and shit like that, and you're like, okay, that is something that I could become. It's something it's right there. It's close enough, but it's also not exactly my life now. I can aspire to that. And I don't know if it's necessarily even the thing that it's not like they've examined all the different types of person to be and chosen that one. It just seems like, well, this is close enough to where I already am that it feels like a manageable leap to get
Basic. Some basic ass shit. I'm gonna put a fucking live, laugh, love framed thing that you bought at fucking Target up on the wall. Fucking basic. Down vest. You know what I'm saying?
Disdain that you have for this.
Just, you know,
Have we heard
do
any
something
more
different.
on the boyfriend front? Is that
Broke
over?
up. They broke up. Yeah. Last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, didn't seem to really make an impact on my daughter. That's the thing, man. She as submerged in this like middle school drama culture as she appears to be, very little of it seems to actually have an impact or effect on her. She's just kind of like water off a duck's back sort of a thing. And like, I will roll with that as long as I can, as long as that's how it is. We're going to keep going.
It's probably a decent way to be.
I agree. I don't know where she got that from. Not from me. Probably not from her mom. You know, so lucky her, I guess. Probably going to turn out to be a psychopath.
So can we get into some Chad's Grizz talk? Find out what I want to know for you headed into this Cat Week with the Grizz. You know, not exactly the best team we've seen in recent years. The Cats looking pretty good. Is Chad Dundas building a wall around his heart for this one?
I don't even think I need it. You know what I'm saying?
Assuming that's a loss.
Yeah, I mean it's the brawl of the wild. You got to throw out the record books, as they say, for a rivalry game like this. But look, man, Montana State undefeated against the FCS, 11-0, number 2 in the nation. Fucking running game that you can't stop. They've just been rolling people. I think, you know what? If they win the national championship, I won't be surprised at all. They got this kind of unstoppable offense. The defense is serviceable. They got a kind of a once in a generation talent at quarterback in Tommy Mellott, and they
Butte own Tommy Mellott.
Butte, Montana's own Tommy Mellott. The Grizz, it's like not only are the Grizz not that good this year, and they can't get some shit figured out. They can't get out of their own way in many cases, but defensively, this Montana State running offense is like tailor-made to just like slice and dice them. It is going to be death by 1,000 cuts out there on Saturday. It's going to be 6-yard gain, 4-yard gain, 3-yard gain, 5-yard gain, 7-yard gain, just like, you know, running the ball down their throat all the way down the field, probably throw in some long passing touchdowns once you suck the defense in, right? Get them worried about stopping the run, then you go over the top, score some touchdowns that way. I'd love to say that the Grizz can come out here, have something up their sleeve, get it done, but it just doesn't seem like the year, man. You know what I mean? I would love it if they did. Hell, I would love it if it's close, but this just doesn't seem like the year.
Maybe though, when you got nothing to lose, when nobody's expecting anything of you, that's when you roll into Bozeman and stick it up their asses.
That's shit. I hope so. But you know, it's a tough stylistic matchup, man. We are the Cyril gone. We are the Cyril gone in this matchup, and the Cats are John Jones. Just like bad one team tailor-made to just beat the shit out of the other one. So that's what's going. Plus, it's down in Bozeman. You know, got to go down there. Fucking shitty ass Bozeman. Stay in one of their terrible hotels. Go out there to their little stadium that they're so proud of. They'll play their little Moni song. Have the fucking horses come out before the game, and I'm doing the jerk off motion right now for people who are only listening to the audio. So it's going to be a tough one out there for the Grizz. Here perhaps is the more interesting question, right? Because you got beat by UC Davis. Then you came back, you beat Portland State, although not that convincingly. Now you're going to go up the road and lose probably to the neighbors at their house. You're probably going to get maybe one playoff home game. Maybe, if you're lucky. And the NCAA FCS selection committee loves to give the Grizz a home game because make the most money in the entire nation in terms of bringing people in for the stadium for a live gate. The NCAA gets a cut of that. Obviously, it looks good on ESPN. If you can get on ESPN, maybe you make a run, but right now things don't look that rosy. And I'll tell you what, if you don't, what happens then? Does Bobby Hauck stick around for the last couple of years of his contract? Do you got the two quarterbacks that you kind of systematically fucked over, both of them here and there throughout the season? Did those guys stick around? Does one of them hit the transfer portal? Does both of them hit the transfer portal? Do you have to bring in 20 more FBS transfers to try to field a team again? Because that's what you did last year and didn't work out, but you also haven't recruited that well, so you don't have any depth. You know what? Coming out of last year, you ride the big dog, Clifton McDowell, all the way to the national championship game. Things felt pretty rosy, right? And then you come into this year that is just hasn't exactly been a dumpster fire, but it also hasn't been great. Now it seems like many of those flaws that you were able to mask last year when everything went right, starting to be a little bit more glaring. You start to notice, oh, we don't have any up and coming defensive depth. That's why they had to bring in all these transfers. And the same thing is going to be true next year. So I don't mean to sound bleak. I don't mean to sound grim, but
a little bleak.
You know, this is things don't look good right now.
Quick trivia. Do you know the last time the Grizz went out there to Bozeman and won in Bozeman?
Seems like it would have to have been a little while.
It's a little while. It's a little while ago.
How long ago?
2015.
Okay.
Smoked them though.
Yeah.
Beat them 54-35 in Bozeman. Lately though, the rivalry seems to have shifted because, you know, the numbers for a long time were all on Montana's side.
Yeah.
You know, we won the last one. You and I were in the house for that one, did a special Patreon on the scene report from that one. 37-7 victory last year. But lately, it's last year Montana won. Year before that, Montana State won at home. Year before that, Montana won at home. And then the 4 before that, Montana State won them all at Bozeman and Missoula. And the numbers are starting to, I mean, it's still Montana's ahead overall, 74-42-5. But lately,
well, the Grizz won it like 17 years in a row while I was growing up. It was a joke. It wasn't even a rivalry. It was like you got to make fun of the Bobcats once a year. But then, you know, the Bobcats have been resurgent over the last decade or so, while the Grizz have been, let's say, suffered through some adversity, right?
Well, the thing is, with a rivalry game like this, you look through, you look back, you see a lot of running up the score on each other when you get the opportunity. And, brother, if ever there was a defense you could run the score up against, it might be this one.
It's going to be so bad.
They might score 75 fucking points.
It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so. Is there even a spread? MSU, Montana, football.
Trying to see what was the highest point total. Well, one year where, see, in the beginning of that 17-year stretch of Montana winning them all, they beat 59-28, 55-7 the year before that. I also do like when you can go back and look at the games from like 1912 where Montana won 7-0. Or weird ass shit. 1909 when Montana won 15-5.
God, it's just it's a betting line graveyard out there for FCS football in general. Let's see if I can get on the Montana Sports Bet app. Let's see what we got here. Looks like the Cats are 16.5 point favorites, which I think is
modest.
Yeah.
Man, 1928. This is back when we were playing this game in Butte every year. Ended in a 0-0 tie.
Wow.
You mean to tell me motherfuckers had to wake up hungover the next morning and go to work in the mines in Butte and be like, did you go see that football game? Yeah, fucking 0-0 tie. I can't imagine that was exactly setting the town on fire.
I mean, that puts it in perspective. We can hope for a 0-0 for better than a 0-0 tie. Wait, would a 0-0 tie actually be good for the Grizz?
Oh, yeah.
That would be better than expected, right? Probably a bad game, but, take a 0-0 tie. Maybe the power goes out. There's a stadium malfunction. We can't finish the game. Just have to call it a 0-0 tie.
What's your plan for watching the game? You going to be hunkered down?
Yeah, I'm just going to be here. I'll just watch it on TV. I don't need anybody else around me. My kids are already going to be coming in being like, who's winning the game? And I'll have to be like, get the fuck out of here.
Don't you talk to me.
Don't make any loud noises while daddy's watching his game. Yeah, it's probably going to be bad. But we can hope, right? It's a rivalry game. Punch them in the mouth. Go out there and do your stuff. See what happens.
I feel like I can already picture what the locker room speeches are going to be like before this one. It's Bobby Houck going to be in there being like, nobody's giving you guys a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nobody in the media. Going to invent some kind of media that we can be mad at.
Or he'll be like, let me tell you a story about a guy named David fought this guy named Goliath. Some shit like that. Football coaches love shit like that.
They definitely do. I see as we have been recording this, Matt Gaetz has withdrawn from the consideration to be the Attorney General. So there is that. Again,
you can't be the country's top law enforcement official while you're under extremely credible investigation for various sex crimes. That's weird.
Don't worry, though. I'm sure that the next guy will be good. Whoever the next nominee is, I'm sure they will be fine.
Yeah.
Big improvement. All right. That's it for doing the damn thing this week. Don't know if we actually ever got around to discussing anything, but we'll be back tomorrow with the Power Hour. Get you guys ready for the weekend. We appreciate the support. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. As for right now, we're done.